Welcome back, Division I Rejects. This is episode 105, filming this on June 22nd. We've got a fantastic guest, fantastic conversation, and two awesome guys in the studio with me today. Cade, we've seen you here before.
Yep.
Yeah.
Coach, say what's up, man.
What's going on, guys, man? I'm blessed to be here. First time.
Hell yeah.
First timer.
Hell yeah.
Just soaking up everything we can get.
It's hard.
Yes, indeed.
Happy to have you, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, man.
This is Coach Riddick. He is our new wide receivers coach at Northern Michigan University. Joining us here tonight, a little bit on short notice, but his close friend, now the head coach at Kentucky Wesleyan University, Tyrone Young, will be joining us here in just a few minutes. So shot him a text, and man, to your credit, you were here at front door like right away. No hesitation.
Hey, listen.
I ain't hard to find.
I ain't hard to find, baby. Hey, listen. I hate to. I ain't gonna say steal it, but ain't hard to find, baby. You know what I'm saying?
I love it, but also is it's a great testament to your guys' relationship, right?
Yeah,
you and Coach Young,
awesome,
like that.
Awesome guy, very respected. Just a great guy of leading men.
Yeah.
Just awesome guy.
That's what it's all about. So definitely get ready for that conversation. If you are watching on YouTube, remember timestamps bottom of the video. You can fast forward to any part of that conversation. Having Riddick here for that took that to the next level. So really do appreciate you being here. Otherwise, today's going to be a pretty brief one. The football world has been kind of lame. It's sometimes no news is good news, right? There's still no update on a lot of different free agent and trade situations as far as the NFL is concerned, the lower levels of football. Right. Not too much stirring up. We do have a big announcement for the show that we're going to talk about after Coach Young comes on here that we're going to do a little bit of a preview about. And the Lions dropped some new alternate helmets, the baby blues.
Finally, yeah.
Finally.
I mean, we'll see how it looks.
Ooh.
Like, we
gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it later. We'll be able to get our opinions out, but definitely polarizing. Definitely a polarizing look. And some rules about when and where they can wear them is kind of interesting as well. But we'll get to all that stuff more, a little NFL talk. But as always, you can watch this episode on YouTube. Like I said, don't forget about those timestamps. Listen pretty much anywhere. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you name it. Follow us on Twitter, D1_Rejects, Instagram, Division I Rejects to see highlights from the show. But before any of that great stuff, let's hop into that conversation with the man himself, Coach Young. Joining the show tonight, a man who has climbed the coaching ladder, made quite quick work of it. In fact, he's the head coach at D2 Kentucky Wesleyan University in the GMAC. It's Coach Tyrone Young. Coach.
What's going on?
Pumped to have you tonight.
I know, man.
Like I said before we hopped on, had a surprise guest. Ruined the surprise. Coach Riddick with us also, man.
Yes, sir. What's going on, Coach, baby? I miss you, baby.
I have.
Oh, man.
I've heard the stories now. I've been around them enough, but for those that listen that aren't familiar with you guys, how far y'all go back?
You got it.
You want me to talk or you gonna talk?
You got it, Coach. It's your show, baby.
You're right. I was on the flyer. My
baby.
bad. No, I've known Riddick since it's been a while, since like 2012. He was actually my first year of coaching college football. He was my first ever recruit in the college ranks. So I recruited him out of William Penn in Iowa. He was from Memphis, but I recruited him out of there. Just a kid who was loving the game of football and wasn't supposed to be in Iowa. And then, I got him to Kentucky, and the rest is history. I've known him for quite a while, 11 years now.
Man, I love
that.
I love that, man. I love that. And, first things first, of course, you and your wife welcomed a new baby boy back in April.
Yes.
Congratulations. Yes. That is huge, man.
I appreciate you.
Congrats. And the draft selection pick style announcement on Instagram?
Yeah, he was born on his due date, on the draft day, the first day of the first round. He's actually, today's Thursday, so he's 8 weeks today.
Man.
That's what I was at home chilling with. Then I came over here to the office. But yeah, no, he's been over here all day, actually. So I just took him home not too long ago.
I love it. And before we get into anything too serious, I'm going through the Instagram. I got to do my research, right? And I see you with Mrs. Butterworth around your neck. I'll show it to the people here so they get a good view of this too before we hop into anything too serious. I just need a little bit of an explanation. I think I kind of get the tie in here, but I want to hear from you, man.
That's the pancake chain. That's the pancake chain, man. You got to give the big boys up front some love, man. And it was wild how that came about, but that was a candidate moment for me. I was just playing with the chain, and then looked up and there was a camera in my face. So I just took the picture, and then it came out good. So I posted.
Hey, you were ready too. It didn't catch you off guard either. I think you and Coach Riddick here, you got that in common though.
You know,
Yeah, man.
you know, I got a little sauce, you know.
Oh my gosh.
But we can talk a little bit about your guys. Christian getting picked up by the Roughnecks in the XFL.
Yeah.
As far as I've seen, hasn't signed a deal yet, but they've claimed his rights, and that will be the next step. I mean, that's obviously just so huge for him. Talk about how important that is to get the guys like that to the next level.
Man, it's huge for us. It's huge for him, man. He put in a whole lot of work to do it, to get there. He was actually in training camp with the Giants and then the Falcons.
Okay.
And then he had the opportunity. You know, his agent is awesome. He works tirelessly. He texts us all the time and trying to tell us who's who and what's what. And we kind of had an inclination that he was going to get picked up by one of the XFL teams because they reached out earlier in the week to get, stuff for the draft and make their announcements and everything else. But it was huge. It's huge for our program because, now that's 2 years in a row that we've had guys go on and play at the next level with Keyshawn Walker, who is in the NAL.
Oh, yeah.
He's not in the NAL. He's in one of the Marina Leagues. He plays for the Northern Arizona Wranglers. And then we had another guy, Dalen Kofer. He played out with the Storm somewhere and did one of the Dakotas. And then Jalen Wilson currently plays for the West Texas Warbirds. And then Shedrick Kirk with the Pittsburgh Maulers. So we have a lot of different guys being able to go on and continue their football careers. And Christian just added to that.
Yeah. And I think that gets lost sometimes, right? Because you look at, obviously Division II as a whole, you're not going to have the level of to the pros as some of the large, the big Power 5 schools. But even at a school where, I'm not, no offense, obviously Kentucky Wesleyan is not a perennial powerhouse of a football program. And maybe in 2-3 years, we could be totally having a different conversation. But I think it's important that even at this stage in the process right now, that you still have the ability to get these guys to the next level. And I think that's probably a huge piece of your recruiting is that, hey, you're going to come here and you are going to have a chance to showcase your talents. You are going to have a chance to put yourself and your family in that position. How do you work that into your, I hate to call it a pitch, but I mean, that's kind of what it is, right?
I mean, it's just a reality. It's not so much of a pitch because we've done it. And when guys are interested in doing that, that's the first thing I tell them in the recruiting process is you got to be able to tell us that as coaches because we have the connections. Scouts come through here every year. So we have the connections, and our scouts that do come through here are very connected. And, that's what helped Smooth along his journey. Christian, as you guys call him, we call him Smooth, but that's what helped him along his journey. And so, it's just being honest about it. And then for us as coaches, it's just also on the same aspect. I'm not here to kill your aspirations, but I'm going to tell you whether you actually got a legitimate shot or not. And it's going to be one of those things where you have to have daily work and put in the work every single day for it. And if you don't, then I don't want to hear you talk about it. So it's just one of those things in recruiting. It's not so much of a pitch, but it's just, hey, if you're honest with yourself and you're honest with us as coaches, we're going to do everything we can to help you.
Hell yeah. That's I love it. I mean, honesty, open channels of communication, that's how all coaches should handle things like that, right? There shouldn't be sugarcoating. There shouldn't be this whole dynamic of getting recruited, hearing one thing, and then show up on campus, and it's the exact opposite, right? I mean, I think you're a dude that shoots people pretty straight.
Yeah,
I think you say. Yeah, you got to. You got to.
I tell them the facts, and and we live with the decision, and like you say, you got to shoot them straight. You got to. That's the only way you're gonna save the program, save the same, everything like that. So.
Yeah, totally. And I wanted to, I got both of you here, obviously. So it'd be nice to kind of talk on the school situation. And for those who, again, not everyone is familiar with the Wesleyan University system, talk about that church affiliation, the overall difference that comes with being at a Wesleyan University. And I know, you guys have both been on either side of it. So I'm just curious to hear the biggest takeaways from you. I mean, whether it be what kind of things are different than your regular or your state school, are there higher academic standards? How does that affect recruiting players? What type of kids you bring in there? And how big of a factor the faith is inside of your program? I mean, that was a loaded question. You can start literally wherever, but I would just love to hear your perspective on that.
No, the thing about it is it's not a misconception, but it's also a little bit of a misconception with dealing with a Wesleyan school. We're a United Methodist school, but it's one of the things for us is we take all denominations here.
Okay.
And for us also too, I graduated from Kentucky Christian University with a youth ministry and biblical studies degree in sports management and marketing, and I was a dual major. And so that was a real religious based school, and you had to go to chapels, you had to do all kind of different things. You had to take all these different Bible classes, whether you wanted to or not.
Yeah.
Here, it's not so much. If you choose to major in religion, then you can, but not necessarily you have to. And it doesn't really impact us on recruiting. We can recruit pretty much anybody, but the thing that what you hit on that does affect us in recruiting is academics. We're a pretty well endowed academic school in the state of Kentucky, and so a lot of people know about the education that we have, and that's where a lot of kids come here for, is that education. Like we just had one of our senior quarterbacks. He just got accepted in Vanderbilt, UK, and U of L's med school. And we all know how tough those are. And then we had another kid go out to Montana and be in a wildlife. So our degree hold weight in that regard. But it's just one of those deals for us as coaches. We just got to be intentional about the kids that we're recruiting.
Yeah.
Which makes it great for us, man. And I tell kids that all the time in recruiting, man. You signed up to go to school. I'm not chasing you.
I like that. I like that. Now,
I'm not going to be chasing you.
How often, though, I mean, between both of you guys, have you had to explain that to kids, to parents and families that, like you kind of said, there is almost a bit of a misconception there that they totally could fit in at this school, and it's not really as big of an adjustment as maybe they perceive it to be?
You explained it a little bit, but one of the things about it is we don't necessarily hide our faith neither. And that's what's beautiful about it is I can pray before the game and not get chastised about it.
Yeah.
Our team chaplain talks to our team before every single game. He goes to every single game. He came to Michigan when we came to Michigan, and then he's going to Florida when we go to Florida.
Oh, yeah.
So we're able to deliver the word, and our guys have started their own Bible studies and things like that on the team. So it's nice to not have to be able to, have to hide your faith or want to do a Bible study with your guys and getting chastised about it. So yeah, that's the beautiful part about it. So that's what we do explain in recruiting, that you don't necessarily, we're not confined by any, you got to do this or you got to do that. Our school is pretty right down the middle as far as allowing us to be faith-based football program.
I love it. And I just haven't had the chance to have many coaches or athletes from schools with any type of religious affiliation. So that's why I kind of wanted to just ask some of those questions. Because I know I visited a few schools. I was actually at Indiana Wesleyan. So that was – yeah. So I took that visit, and I'm trying to think anywhere else. But I know a lot of people just aren't really as familiar with that scene. But as far as this year, the schedule, you threw it out there going to Florida. Yeah. You guys got something to prove this year. What better way than going down to Pensacola? That West Florida team is on fire, and that's going to be a statement. Week 1 for you guys. Tell me about what makes that so exciting.
You got to bring it, Coach.
Hell yeah.
You got to bring it, baby.
Riddick, you know who I am. Come on, man. We ain't worried about none of that. But no, West Florida, man, they're extremely talented. Coach Nobles is actually a really good dude. Me and him talked on the phone. Coach Mello, I actually worked at camp with him. He's a good dude. But
former
when they
GLIAC guy, Coach Mello, not to interrupt you there, but yeah, he's put together quite the super team on the D line down there. I've been peeping the transfer portal, them boys.
For whatever reason, whatever time they get a transfer, it's on my timeline. So I'm like, Twitter must know that we're playing each other. But no, man, it was when none of those coaches were there when the contract got sent. So when we got the contract, it was actually in the middle of the season, and I actually asked the dude with no shoes on over there. I was like, "Yo, what you think about this?"
Let's go, baby.
Let's go, baby.
We coming.
I'm like, okay. I mean, but no, it was an opportunity for our kids that they wanted. They wanted to be able to see one of the best teams in the nation, right up close and personal. What better way? I mean, for them, sometimes that's going to be memories for some of those guys to be able to get on that bus and then go down to Florida, playing that type of environment on a Friday night. We know it's going to be rocking. We know they're a really good team. They got a lot of transfers. They had a lot of good players already.
Yep.
Then they got a lot of good transfers. So it is something to prove to ourselves necessarily. But the nice thing about it is that goes into with how many guys decided to stay here on campus over the summer. When you're playing a team like West Florida, you don't have to do a lot of external motivation because there's a lot of internal motivation.
Yeah.
Because what our history has been and what our record was last year. Everybody expects us to go down there and get drummed. I'm not idiotic to that, but at the end of the day, that's why you play the game.
Hell yeah.
So we're really excited. We got some, got some things coming, and we've got some good transfers too. But
Oh yeah. No, I've been seeing that, coach. I've been seeing that. You might have exhausted all the most exciting GIFs on the Twitter timeline just getting pumped up by these recruits.
No, I got some more.
You got some loaded? You got in the chamber or what?
More. Yeah. No, that's my thing. Is like, because being able to celebrate those guys.
Yeah, man, I love it.
Now having to celebrate them before signing day is pretty big, and I haven't even dropped the big gift yet. And the one where we talk about we got him because we got a cornerstone on the defensive line coming in.
Okay.
I just put it like this: where he came from, he had 25 sacks in 9 games, so pretty excited about him being here in Owensboro.
You talking about 25 and 9?
Yep. By himself.
I'm not a big math guy, coach, but that's
Coach, I might have to see about that.
Hey, signed, sealed, and delivered.
I love it. But we can switch over and talk about conference play a little bit. And to me, I'm going to hear your perspective on this too, but the GMAC, that feels like a conference that has, you can see here, just the stock has been rising every year. From an outsider's perspective, it feels like the competition from top to bottom has improved over the last couple of years pretty drastically. Now, I'd like to hear your opinion on that. You've been in the league for quite a few years now, not even just as a head coach, but what have you thought about these last couple of years as far as GMAC play is concerned?
The GMAC gets tougher every single year, man. It's one of those things to where if you're not recruiting up to par, it's going to show on Saturdays. With us adding Northwood or Ashland and Northwood, and now Thomas More, they were all respectively good, and Northwood had been struggling for a few years, but if you look at before that, they had a good history. And then Thomas More beat up people on the D3 ranks and then moved up to NAIA, was successful in the NAIA world, and now they're coming up to D2 as well. So if you look at it top to bottom, that's something that we talk about in recruiting. This is not an easy conference. We do not play in an easy conference, and you're going to have to bring your lunch pail every single day, but it's something that gets you excited as a competitor. But now the cream of the crop, we got Ashland, Tiffin, ODUs of the world, Finley's of the world, Hillsdale's. Man, we got a really good conference. We're actually blessed to play in a conference like we do, but it just hurts us so much at the national level because we're in Super Regional 1. And Super Regional 1 gets a lot of, love in the Northeast because the GMAC schools, we all have 2 and 3 losses because we beat up on each other. If you look at the level of competition that we play, in that committee, if the committee would look at it a little bit deeper, we'll have a schedule alliance with the PSAC or something. But nonetheless, our teams over here are really daggone good. As Ashland represented us quite well in the playoffs and losing a close one to IUP, but our conference is legit, man. I love it.
Totally. I think Ashland was a great example of what you're just talking about actually last year with them. They're riding in that top 10 of the D2 football rankings, whether or not the rankings matter. They were having a hell of a season. And then all of a sudden, Hillsdale sneaks up, throws them an uppercut, and they knock them off off the top rope there. And you were like, Hillsdale obviously has a solid squad, but that game was not supposed to go that way. And I think that's probably illustrates the best example of what you're just talking about.
You got to come play.
You got to come play every single week. Like Riddick knows, it's one of those deals like we showed up to play versus Hillsdale. Whatever for reason. Last year we loved playing at home. We didn't really like playing on the road. We didn't really show up on the road. And it was quite of a head scratcher. It was a bugaboo, to be honest. But Ashland, that's one of the things that they talked about before our game. Like, man, we know you guys are deadly and blah, 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 because the GMAC is like that. You cannot overlook any team that you play. There's no guaranteed wins in our conference. And I go to speak that for everybody. At the end of the day, whether you're front loaded or whether you're back loaded, the GMAC is loaded.
Yeah, you ain't escaping it, right?
No.
We know how that goes.
Can't escape that, baby.
We know how that goes. Yeah.
Yeah, y'all know how that goes for real.
Oh, wait.
Yeah,
I love it.
Y'all know how that goes for real. Oh, Riddick, by the way, tell Coach Richardson I'm looking for week 1 next year. Y'all want to come to Owensboro?
Week 1 now. What'd you think about that, huh? What'd you think about it, Coach Riddick?
We got to talk about that, Coach. We got to talk about the stipulations on that. You gotta let that path get through a little bit, and then we come holler at you.
That's good, but we can switch gears a little bit. I wanted to talk a little bit off the field, right? You went to school in Kentucky. You graduate there, start your career. Both you guys, right? You had a few stops between now and then. Talk about what it means to be back in the state. Obviously, you didn't just get back there, but really, I mean, now you've got roots there, right? And this is hopefully just the beginning for you, what it means to be back there for you and your family, of course.
Man, to be honest, my wife never really wanted to leave the state of Kentucky. But my coach at the time, Coach Peterson, one of my best mentors, he told me I had to go to grow. And I was like, what are you talking about? But in order to grow my coaching network, I had to leave Kentucky Christian in Eastern Kentucky. And so, traveling up to Pennsylvania where I ain't know nobody, and it was really cold. I really didn't like it. But the food was good. The people were all right. They were different from being in the South, man. You come to the South, we a little bit different, as Riddick shows you. We a lot different down here. So been in Pennsylvania. I learned a bunch up there in Pennsylvania and Indiana. But coming back home, man, is special. I'm about an hour and a half from where I grew up. So that's really special to me. And then being at this school, man, is just, like you said, some roots. And I tell people all the time, everybody's like, man, what's it like to be a young head coach? I tell them all the time, I'll tell you when I'm an old head coach, because that means I did it right. And if I don't want to have the tag of former head coach and now, this coordinator and everything else, I want to continue to be the head coach here at Kentucky Wesleyan. I enjoy being here. And it's one of those deals for us. It's really special, especially with the group of kids that we have right now. And then the group of kids we got coming in, I want to see all my kids graduate. So this is a once in a lifetime opportunity that I don't plan on blowing no time soon.
Hell yeah. That's powerful stuff. I like that a lot. That's really well said. Now, on your recent stops, you certainly haven't taken any of those for granted either. What I've really enjoyed reading about you is your impact off the field at these other stops. Starting a fellowship of Christian athletes, or I saw your Adopt a Raven program, two really good examples of that. Not only passion for the kids, right, the ones you're coaching, but for the community. And I think wherever your feet are, I think that's something. I just met you, but just a strong impression right off the bat, man. Like wherever your feet are, you want to make a difference right away. And I applaud you for that. I think it's incredible, but I just wanted to ask you what pushed you to embrace that side of not only being a coach, but also being a mentor and a prominent male figure in a lot of these kids' lives.
That's a great question. I tell Riddick and he knows, I say this all the time, be where your feet are. Because that's how you make the most impact. Yeah, be where your feet are. And that was one of the things like I took pride in this year is and last year. We won that little GMAC Community Service Award here at Kentucky Wesleyan last year. And a big part of that was our football team. And then this year we were in the top 5 in community service hours as a program. But it's huge because I grew up as a military brat. My father was in the United States Army for 24 years. And it was a lot of the times it was just me and him. So a lot of the community people used to take me in and, make sure I got to my games because my dad's out in the field and, I'm 9-10 years old and I'm waiting for him to get back and he's trying to get back and it's 2 or 3 days and I don't see my dad and I'm by myself. And my dad did a good job of raising me. He did the best he can for the situation that he was put in. But it was a lot of people and a lot of coaches in my life that made a difference. So I told myself when I got the opportunity to make a difference, that's exactly what I was going to do. Because I feel like, especially at small schools like Kentucky Wesleyan, the bigger impact that we have in the community, it leads to you reap the benefits on both sides. Like we've been in every elementary school here in town, like numerous times. And you know what the reward of that is? Seeing those little kids show up at our games because they get in for free. We sold out 3 out of 5 home games last year, and we went 2-9. We sold out 3 out of the 5, and then the other 2 were really packed as well. But all those little kids, when they line our fence, to slap our players' hands and give them high fives and want autographs and pictures after the game, that means a whole lot for me to be able to know one day. I used to be that kid. I used to be that kid that was looking up to somebody else. And, luckily I had people in my life that was willing to take their arm and put it around me. So, you have the same impact. And I always talk about using your platform as your ministry. And football is my ministry. So why not go out, and profess to people? So that's just why we do what we do and why I am who I am.
I'm going to try transcribe some of this. We got a lot of space in the wall here in the studio, Coach, and it's going to start filling up with some verbiage here real soon. I'll tell you that. That is awesome. I really do. I appreciate that. And it's something too where you get these guys on campus, and a lot of them probably don't have that experience being as involved in the community. Now, some of them may at the high school level, they get out there and they do that, but sometimes it takes a little bit of push to get these guys to go and really buy into that. How do you I see look on your face. There's maybe I got into a good topic, but how do you get them all to buy in? And I would imagine it's type of a domino effect when you get a couple guys going and more start to buy in.
Right. Well, it just goes into our creed, man. Our creed is coaches believe in coaches, coaches believe in the players, players believe in the coaches, and players believe in players. That's just something that we believe in. And so as somebody that they know that cares about them, I make sure all my players know I care about them tremendously. And I would never ask them to do something that I wasn't willing to do myself first.
Yep.
So I just make sure that I lead by example. And then some of the, the more reserved ones, which is why I was laughing. Some of those were really reserved guys, man. You nudge them out there. And like, I got some guys that don't like reading in the rooms we go in. So they're just there to play with the kids. Now they love kids. And once they get in there, then their 7-year-old self comes out. Yep. And then they forgot that they didn't even want to be there in the first place. But it's one of those things too, man. We allow the guys to sign up as it fits their schedule. We never really try to make you do anything that you don't want to do. But it's a part of our culture is to serve the community. It's part of the leadership model of our foundation. So being a servant leader is bigger than yourself. And one of our sayings on the wall in the locker room, it says, get out of yourself and into the team. So it's a lot of our brand and who we are as people. And that's a test to the recruiting trail too. I don't recruit turd muffins into our program. Nope, not gonna do it. I love my job, so I refuse to have a turd muffin in here. My AD is calling me about things. Not gonna happen. Yeah, that's part of it too.
Yeah, I love that, man. You talked about you need a week 1 next year, but in all seriousness, how great is? I mean, I'm sure you've got other friends that have moved on to the coaching careers, but specifically, that'd be something to be on the opposite sideline. I have to imagine between y'all.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be amazing. I love it.
That would be so fun.
Yeah,
because that dude in your studio, I love that dude. Any shirt I have in here, if he needed me to drive to Michigan right now, I would get in my car and drive to Michigan and not even ask him why he needed me to drive to Michigan.
Oh yeah.
So that's. Blood couldn't make us any closer. So, that would be awesome.
I love that.
It would be intense for 60 minutes, but then, we would laugh, joke, all kind of things after the game and, talk about schemes and everything else. I love to see his growth. And I'm happy that he's in a situation to where he's happy.
Yeah.
So that makes me, as his big brother, somebody that cares about him. That makes me really happy. So that'd be awesome.
He was hard on me though. I tell you that he was
very hard.
It was days in that staff room where things went. Hey, draw that up. I can't. You know what I'm saying? So he walked me through step by step. He prepared me for the moment that I'm in now.
Yeah.
So it's about the moment. He prepared me for it. So.
My younger brother just got home right now. He'd probably give you a pretty similar testament right there. You know what I mean? As far as toughing him up. But that's what I was going to follow it up with is talk about how gratifying it is, I guess, from your perspective as well. We kind of heard his, but to see your guy just like that, to be progressing, to be in such a promising position and to continue to just, like we said, this is it right here, baby, the stock.
It's about elevation, man. And I seen him, coming from this situation, that situation, we was there. We was gonna take a job, the good Lord, his wife, the Lord wife, in the airport. They had a conversation, to stay, and 6 months later, boom, he get the job that he want, and and he worked hard at it every day. He was a head coach without being a head coach. You know what I mean? So he did everything that he's supposed to do. From the D coordinator, special teams, assistant head coach, just camaraderie with the team and, building brands with the team, within the team. Man, it was amazing, I
love that. Yeah.
And I'm glad that he stuck by my side and elevated me and put me in the best situation possible, man. And I can't do nothing but thank him. We text and I thank him all the time. And, I tell him that he prepared me for the moment and, some of the stuff that that he taught me that I bring with me, so, and I sauce it up a little bit, just to put my little flavor on it. But, he made sure I was straight, and I thank him for that. I tell all the guys that he got on his staff right now, hey, just trust the process. It might be, he might be on you about, why you not explaining this all the way. It's going to help you when you get in them interviews. It's going to help you when you get in front of them players and you in your own room and you in a bigger situation. It's going to help you.
Yeah.
You know, so
I love that.
Just
And
stick to it.
It's awesome because relationships like that oftentimes just get lost in our sport because of just the nature of it. And I think it's always refreshing to see that, especially just like that's a totally different conversation as far as men in today's society and today's culture to have that importance of relationships. And it's something that like, that's right here, man. Like that's super important stuff. But Coach, I really appreciate your time today, man. I cannot thank you enough. I've had a blast, and that's all I've got for you. So thank you so much again.
Hey, I can't wait till you text me again and ask me to come back. Let's go. Awesome. Yeah.
I always tell everyone when they say that, and I say, I hope you're being serious because I'm going to take you up on it. It's going to happen.
You see how you hit me up, and I was like, let's do it.
Let's go.
I love it. I am with you.
I love it. Well, thank you very much, Coach. Again, appreciate you, and we'll definitely be following up on that. We'll see you about week 1 next year, too.
All right, baby, man. We appreciate you, dog.
All right, baby.
See you, Coach. We're back once again. Very huge thank you to Coach Young. I mean, you said it in the intro, leader of men. The dude is a leader of men across the board, on and off the field, the way that – you know, as soon as I brought up the community involvement and the volunteering, you could see his eyes light up. He had a smile on his face, and that dude just started. You get a dude like that, like, you just let him talk. You just let him go because he was just extremely passionate. I love that. It's awesome.
He going to make it do what it do. Gonna make it do what it do. He like I said, he's a great leader of men and the community involvement, the camaraderie, like, just amazing.
Yeah. It was awesome. And you could feel that just by talking to him. Like I told him, I just met him, but just given that impression of him that you feel like, I know him. I just talked to him for 25 minutes, but I feel like I know the dude now. And it helps, obviously, having you here help with that. But as far as our show is concerned, we do have a big announcement coming up, and that is that we will be collaborating with the College Football Network. These guys, if you are not familiar, you live under some proverbial stone in the college football world. My guy, Michael, over there does a great job. The consistency at which this guy posts
it's ridiculous.
to Twitter and Instagram and his other platforms is just straight commendable. And this is not like a full-time gig for this guy. Like, this guy has work, has taken classes, whatever. He has a whole other life, and he just, the amount of dedication. So shout out, hopefully he's listening to this, shout out here to him because it is seriously commendable, and I'm excited to say that Division I Rejects
it's going to be sweet.
Will be collaborating with the College Football Network. I'm releasing the top 25 preseason rankings for Division II, Division III, and NAIA teams across the country. That is going to be dropping July 3rd. I will put out a graphic tonight as we are recording this to announce that. And it's just exciting.
I wonder if he's going to, give us anything on his page, like, hey, our preseason rankings are dropping on it, Division I Rejects. That'd be kind of sick.
It's going to be a collaboration post, on Instagram. How it does that with both.
Is it
both
Twitter
accounts.
Or no?
Twitter, we got to figure out. But I know the Instagram, you do the collaboration post with both accounts.
Oh, nice.
This is big for you guys.
Yeah,
it's huge.
This is next step.
It's the next step.
This
the last month.
This is the thing, though. Like, we've all been really active, and Kobe does all the looking at all the socials. It's been like this, dude.
The last couple weeks. I mean, ever since we launched the D1R athletes,
it's like blown up.
Yeah, so it's been great, and and we'll even say too, we got some pretty big news today that we don't want to drop yet. As Pat McAfee would say, up to something season. It's big around here right now.
That should be the name of this episode.
It might be, because the news that we got today, we can't even tell y'all. We can't even clue y'all in. It might not even happen until the spring.
I can't believe there's so many people not listening to this, though. Like, think about it. Like, think about
what we're talking about. I'm being ambiguous as hell right now, but it might not even happen until the spring. But you're going to find out eventually. And when you do see it, when you see the announcement, you'll be like, that's what he was talking about. I already know. That's what he's talking about. But back to the point of this is that we're excited to definitely drop those rankings. This is going to be the first step in us, maybe venturing and sticking our foot into throwing our hat in the ring, whatever the hell kind of expression you want to use. As far as the rankings go, I don't think we'll become a ranking show.
No, that's not our personalities.
No, but I do think, every once in a while, it is nice because we live in the landscape. We play in the landscape. We coach in the landscape. In your situation, and I'm not saying I'm bringing you on as a voter, by the way, so don't.
That's okay. It's okay.
But either way, we're here and we see it, and there's no other people that you'd want, involved in these type of conversations. So the rankings that we are releasing, I can preface and say I had no hand in, he had no hand in, Neither of y'all had any hand in.
No, I had zero involvement. Zero, guys.
But none of the guys from our show had any involvement in these rankings that are going to come out. So just take that firsthand. These rankings are from the College Football Network and Michael over there. We are just the platform, the release to help him get this out to all the teams across the country.
A little better graphic, get a little more spice.
Yeah, just sauce them up a little bit. Put a little style.
I could do that.
On
I could do that.
What, nice and organized though at the same time,
Yes, exactly. So, very excited about that. Very excited about the direction of this show. But we can really get into our one and really only topic of the day. That is the Lions' new alternate helmets. And they dropped these helmets. What we're going to do before really anything else is take a look at the reaction video that the Lions posted to their socials of the guys actually seeing the helmet for the first time. Was pretty sweet. So before we get into any of the opinions and whatnot that comes with this, let's go ahead and take a look at this video.
See it. Woo! Is that blue? This is nice. The matte blue too with the throwback logo on top. Oh my gosh. Very cool.
What a terrible thing to say.
Ooh, with the light too? Okay. The throwback is sick though. Like for me, like when I look at, thinking about way back with Barry and all them, the throwback is, I even have a jacket with that same logo, so I can't wait to rock out and just let me know what games. That is, that's pretty damn cool right there.
So there you have their reactions to it.
That's dope.
Nothing like, they ain't come out, you know what I mean? Like, nobody did any backflips or anything. Like, the reaction wasn't crazy, but guys are obviously with it. Also pull up, I've got pictures here of the helmet itself so we can take a little bit of a better view at it right there.
It's clean.
It is. It's a clean look.
It's very neat.
There you have it for you guys watching, but opinions away. First impressions.
It's very neat.
It does really remind me like Barry.
Yeah.
It
like
do.
The logo is like really Barry.
Barry was a bad man. And that's a bad helmet.
Yeah.
It is sweet. And
it's neat. It's clean.
There's some great attention to detail on that. Yeah. And I know personally, like Trevor and I talked about.
I think that it'll definitely look better than people think with the gray. Because you can only wear it with the gray. You know how
that was the major point of contention with this is the fact that they can only wear this with the gray uniform. So if I pull up, here's the picture that they posted with Aiden Hutchinson with the gray uniform and the helmet on right there. And, definitely torn on it. But I think you get everyone out there in those uniforms, also, everyone looking the same type deal. I think that's going to be pretty clean.
I think the white will be good. I think go helmet, white jersey with the gray pants.
That's the problem. They can't. I don't think they can do that.
It's only alternate on alternate, and the NFL is the rule, so you have to wear the grays.
I'm just saying, there's rules to be broke sometimes.
I wonder what would happen. What would happen if the Lions came out one day and they just switched up the combo without telling anybody?
They'll just get $100,000 fine. That'd be all right.
Yeah, slap on the wrist.
Sheila can take that. Sheila can afford that.
Yeah, should be all right.
Yeah, everybody just, $100,000 ain't bad. That'd be all right.
But that is the look the Lions will be going for. And like I said, the whole idea of only being able to wear as the alternates is kind of frustrating. I know we had a video that we talked about the Bengals, the white Bengal helmets. Mm-hmm. Those were pretty solid. But again, you're not wearing that with the orange jerseys, right? That was definitely catered towards their alternate uniforms. I'm trying to think of other examples. I know the Houston has those battle reds.
The reds. Yeah.
The Patriots had a throwback or helmet that they had for with the militia guy on there. The Browns, the Saints. A lot of these teams dropped them, but
the Seahawks got that one now.
The Lions are a little bit behind the pack actually when it comes to dropping some of this stuff.
Well, same with the Tigers in their City Edition, bro. They haven't dropped theirs, and almost every team in the MLB has theirs.
The City Edition jerseys.
Yeah. We're recording this too. I just got off the diamond. I hit home run in the 6th, then I had a walk-off homer in the 7th for my softball team tonight. So started at short. I think I had maybe one error.
He came to play, coach. He came to play.
He got no coach.
I know someone out there. Someone out there is gonna. No, that's a different league.
Oh.
Someone out there is gonna text me like, hey, thanks or congrats on the walk-off.
We'll see about that.
Same.
We'll see about that. But no, overall, pumped for this. I think the Lions Kool-Aid, as far as the fan base is concerned, at an all-time low, as in it's finished.
Mm-hmm.
The people have drank it, and now they have to live up to the hype. I actually was at the golf outing today. The old general manager at the news station I worked at.
He's got Lions cart.
Season tickets.
Oh my gosh.
He's got Lions cart.
Lions cart and season tickets. People are all in, man. Even up here, people are all in, and I think there's no reason they shouldn't be able to. But obviously, no season's going to be perfect, right? There will be between now and week 1, there will be some big point of
the Lions
adversity.
need to win a playoff game.
They do.
If they don't win a playoff game this year, it'd be disappointing.
But you know what I mean? Between now and week 1, there will be something where we go, oh no. Like this train might fall off the rails.
There'd probably be 3 or 4 things, honestly.
Yeah.
In today's
the
world,
first one could have been Jameson Williams.
Right.
That would have been the first
one.
one.
Their back end did get a little better. You got Cam Sutton out there. So.
Yeah.
Much better. I would say more than a little better.
And they got what's his name? Manuel Mosley from the Niners.
Yeah.
And they got C.J. Gardner-Johnson from the Eagles.
Oh my God.
Well,
and
things have got a little spice.
And they got
up
Brian Branch from Alabama, the safety in the
and
draft.
you add to that linebacker core. I mean, the competition in there is going to be fantastic. I think, which is only going to make those guys better.
Mm-hmm. I mean, same at safety. You got
Kirby
Joseph. You got Tracy Walker. You got who else?
So let me ask this question: is it a lot of Lions fan on this side of Michigan?
Not as much.
It's pretty split up here between Packers and Lions as far as this goes, because for those not totally familiar, the UP is actually connected by land to Wisconsin.
Right.
So a lot of people do commute from up there. Like, you have their little camps up here and whatever.
Yeah.
You got hella Packers fans up here.
So many.
I was wondering, because I'm like, it's, Green Bay, Packers is close.
Yeah.
Closer than,
Yeah. We actually don't even get the Lions in market. Like, our market is Green Bay. So we get the Green Bay games over the Lions feed as far as it comes to cable television.
Man.
It blows. So,
I wonder who the Pistons took, dude. I need to check.
Yeah, but I mean, that's all we had for today. I told you I was going to be super brief. Wrecked some helmets there, had a big announcement, and that conversation with Coach Young is just going to carry the episode because that was fantastic. That's all you needed. But yeah, big hand to Coach Riddick though. Appreciate you coming out, Coach. Appreciate you.
Thank you so
much,
you.
That's all for D1 Rejects. Tune in on Tuesday. Will be the next episode airing. We'll have. Actually, I won't say the name yet, but we'll have the newest Division I Rejects athlete on that episode from a GLIAC school. So be sure to tune in for that one. Thank you.